'Tis the season, the most wonderful time of the year. Celebration with friends and family. It's time to pay tribute to this jolly month. So join us as we get into the Christmas spirit. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but this is Venom on the Shelf.
How have they made 6 Home Alone films? I mean, really stop to think about this. There are more Home Alones than Lethal Weapon. There's more Home Alone films than Pirates of the Caribbean. How do you make so many with such a simple premise of a kid being left behind? It's not even that. This is now the 4th attempt at rebooting this franchise. Home Alone has now surpassed the Terminator series in regards to failed reboots.
Not mad at that.
They couldn't get Culkin, so they did 3 with a different kid and it bombed. They brought Kevin back with a different kid and it bombed. They then went and tried it again with a different kid and it bombed. But if at first you don't succeed, stop making them. It was originally supposed to be a complete remake, and Macaulay Culkin himself was rumoured to be returning as Kevin for a cameo, until he broke all of our hearts and confirmed that it wasn't true.
Good.
But hey, they brought Buzz back, so... nostalgia? Is he funny in it?
Unless you want me to arrest your husband for missing your anniversary.
Is it bad if a part of me says, yeah, I do want that?
Buzz isn't in too much of the film, but it is nice to see him back anyway. Of course he's still an idiot, but he's not even entertainingly stupid. He lets them go despite the security alarm going off and them getting the code wrong, but the kid does actually have solid motivation. The only reason he doesn't go to the police is because he's worried his mum will be arrested for leaving him behind. Don't worry, kid. If Kate McCann's allowed to walk free, I'm sure your mum's fine.
Shame on you.
We also learn that Kevin pranks his brother every year with fake calls about burglaries, which is a nice touch. Even though Culkin isn't in it, it's just nice to see what Kevin's been up to. It also seems he's got his own home security business, which is nice. And it ignores Home Alone 4's existence, which is even better.
We forgot my little brother Kevin. Twice.
See, look, it's the Home Alone face. And have Keenan as well, because we need to pander to everyone's childhoods as much as possible. Even if, somehow being only a year old, it still hasn't aged very well.
We're gonna get rid of that jelly belly, Dad, am I right? Get rid of the jelly belly.
They managed to do the impossible and completely suck the funny right out of Keenan. I mean, for crying out loud, they have Rob Delaney and he's not funny. How they do that? But don't worry, there's plenty of pointless reminders that the kid is in fact fat. Oh, and he looks like Harry Potter, but don't worry, if you didn't laugh the first time.
And we're gonna lose our home because Harry stinking Potter comes into our house.
Harry Potter turned me into a pincushion.
Stop trying. At what point do you just give it up and admit defeat? How many times does it take? Especially when it's a kid being left behind in the 21st century when it should realistically be resolved in 5 minutes. The movie even makes a joke out of it.
Nobody has a landline anymore because it's not 1993.
But they all have mobile phones. In fact, this kid just so happens to not have a mobile phone. I mean, granted, he is 10, but he has an Alexa that he's not allowed to call Alexa because they'd get sued.
Ich höre.
But he doesn't have a mobile phone. Even though he knows his mum's number off by heart.
Let's call your parents and let them know that you're okay.
And not once does he ever attempt to call her. And of course, they've just moved in, so they don't know any of the neighbours either.
We only moved there 2 months ago. I don't think we even know their names.
This movie's stupid. Surprisingly, some actually found the film to be quite wholesome, and although unnecessary, somewhat sweet. While original director Chris Columbus completely slated its entire existence. Nobody got in touch with me about it, and it's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned. What's the point? I'm a firm believer that you don't remake films that have had the longevity of Home Alone. You're not going to create lightning in a bottle again. It's just not going to happen. So why do it? It's like doing a paint-by-numbers version of a Disney animated film. A live-action version of that. What's the point? The movie exists. Let's just live with the movie that existed. There's no point in any of us remaking The Wizard of Oz. There's no point in any of us remaking the classic films. Make something original because we need more original material.
Yes, I do.
The main problem with this movie is that it exists. But once you get past that, the entire setup doesn't work. The kid is called Max, and you can tell it's a Home Alone film because he has lots of relatives.
I can't wait to go home and share one toilet with 9 blooming cousins.
His family head away for Christmas to Tokyo because... why wouldn't you spend Christmas at Tokyo?
We can't do that.
And of course, he gets left behind because he sleeps in the car. And how doesn't he wake up anyway? Do you not realise how difficult it is to sleep inside a car, let alone with everyone in the house running around? Meanwhile, this family discover they have a doll that's worth over $200,000, but after a run-in with Max and he becomes a little shithead...
Your boy doesn't want to share his dolly?
Excuse me?
Ah, I get it. You're one of those guys.
They believe he stole it, and this is why the film doesn't work. The bad guys are completely innocent people. For the entire movie, we're led to believe that Max genuinely did steal the doll because he didn't get his own way. Seriously, this kid is so unlikable, it is unreal. They've got everything backwards. The villains are actually somewhat likable because they're decent people, and the hero kid is such an unlikable prick.
How's about we just spend Christmas in Tokyo without you?
Great idea.
I'll leave Grammy with you.
Oh, yes, Granny.
And then you'll have to go to bed at 6 p.m. every evening and help her with her bath.
Oh, that sounds great. Where do I sign up?
Kevin wanted his family to vanish because they were all awful to him. This kid wants his family to vanish because he can't get his mother's attention in 10 seconds. He is such a spoiled, entitled little bastard. You can't root for him. There's also a scene where the kid tries to steal toys from a charity.
I'm definitely a child in need.
It's not even like he can't read the sign either. He can. But then we got this generic double meaning where the woman actually believes that his parents are dead.
All I really want is my mum and dad back.
Oh dear. Well, when did you lose them?
2 days ago.
Oh.
And because he leads her to believe this, he gets given a toy from the charity. Man, fuck this kid. I hope he dies. I mean, the kid can't even talk like a real human being. He speaks like a grown man stuck in a child's body.
I'm sorry I lashed out at you, but I just don't see why we have to share our house with every stupid relative we have.
But because the couple are taking back what's rightfully theirs, how are they the bad guys? For most of the film, we're supposed to believe that he is the thief. So how can we even enjoy them going through hell? How can we enjoy them being tortured and put through so much pain and misery? He also enjoys every second of it. Seriously, he makes Kevin from part 2 look like Jesus. Why is this funny? He literally causes them to crash their car and then he celebrates nearly murdering them. You almost killed 2 innocent parents, you sick fuck. He sets them on fire because, hey, Kevin did it to Harry, so it's funny. No! Harry was a criminal. This is an innocent woman trying to get back her own doll to provide for her family.
I'm doing this for my family.
Okay, so it turns out he actually overhears them discussing the doll and he misunderstands and he believes that they're breaking in to try to kidnap and sell him, which admittedly is quite dark.
But this Santa's gonna be leaving with that $200,000 ugly little boy in his sack.
But that still doesn't mean we can enjoy the pain. It's still a kid torturing innocent people.
And who are we if we give up now? I mean, what do we say to our kids?
This was clearly made by someone who didn't understand why Home Alone worked so well. How in all 5 of the previous films, the villains were genuinely bad guys. This is the only one where they are completely innocent, so why would we laugh at their pain? I mean, look at her, she's fucking adorable. You feel so sorry for them. They're completely innocent, wrapped up in this little demon's demented torture.
He's hurting me, fam.
Me too, baby. Me too.
And that's the problem. You could buy Marv being this dumbass. He was an idiot criminal, but these are normal people who are somewhat intelligent and then all of a sudden for comedy they're dumb.
Montag ist es 13 Grad mit klarem Himmel.
There's someone home.
Dienstag.
They can't tell that that's an Alexa voice. But hey, if he's able to somehow get a Santa Claus outfit at the last minute on Christmas Eve, he can't really be that stupid. Also, it takes them way too long to realise to just walk on the snow. But it is the same people who forgot the security code earlier and then somehow remember it without explanation later. How he's too dumb to realise that he's wearing a VR headset. This is just painful. They're just ticking off Home Alone character tropes without understanding why it fucking worked. He also have a phobia of just moving out of the fucking way. And he seems to be Johnny English with how precise these traps are. How did he know he'd grab that precise part of the banister? Or did he saw out every single one? They end up at the wrong house and accidentally walk into a swimming pool, and it's so painfully unfunny.
Sorry, am I looking at your screen? Yes. Oh, okay. I didn't even realize I'm doing it.
Classic.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're doing it again.
I'm still doing it.
I don't even get the joke of that one. Most of the traps have been done before. The movie barely tries anything new. You'd think after 6 films they'd have a new idea somewhere. And when they do actually try something different, it is so bad. Yeah, Mentos in Coke is now a Looney Tunes Home Alone trap. Look at this bollocks. To be fair, they do have to come up with excuses to sneak away from their families every single time to try to break into the house, and that is a little funny the more ridiculous they get.
Where are we going?
To get some milk.
Oh, well, there's plenty of milk in the fridge, Pammy.
No, you guys have a ton of milk. You're all set on milk.
Eggnog. We're gonna get some eggnog.
Forgot to preheat the oven. Be back soon?
That's a 2-person job?
A car drove through a puddle and splashed us.
But the movie, I have to admit, isn't without merit. Considering this is a Disney film in 2021, they do have a lot of daring and dark jokes. I mean, they have a joke about school shootings.
The schools here are amazing. Correct, Jeff?
Yeah, some of the best in the state. They are totally lit.
Oh. Especially since they put in new metal detectors.
As soon as he realises that he's home alone, the kid tries to watch porn.
Is it really a crime to steal something that was stolen from you?
Yes, that's what OJ got in trouble for.
Homebot, such good booby traps.
I'm sorry, the parental controls of this system restrict the term booby.
No, it's a misdemeanor. Yeah, I looked it up.
That is evidence. Do you know how to clear your search history?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure I could figure it out.
It turns out he didn't even take the doll, so why did he act like he did? What's with all these camera angles? And it still doesn't make it okay, he's still an evil little kid, best mates with Sid from Toy Story. And they're trying to justify it as well.
If we had known you were staying here by yourself, we would have handled things a lot differently.
He was the one who was trying to murder you constantly. Don't act like he's the victim here. The movie has so many different characters, and yet none are particularly charming or the least bit memorable. How do you manage to mess up this many sequels? You've got 5 sequels and they're all shit. Half the time it's like George Lucas's writing. None of these people speak like human beings.
Maxwell Johann Mercer. What is with you today?
Carol Ellen Mercer.
I'll credit the movie for this. It took 6 films for them to actually get an alarm system. Although they clearly don't understand how they work. The family set it up. Max somehow doesn't wake up to all of the commotion. But then he wanders around the house, which should have then triggered the alarm. And therefore the folks would have been informed before getting to the airport and the movie would have been over. Good. But hey, credit to the movie for being completely self-aware. It did genuinely get a laugh out of me.
I don't know why they were always trying to remake the classics. Never as good as the originals.
They have dream sequences which aren't funny or charming. They're just cringy and uncomfortable. One minute the jokes are too dark to be for kids, and then the next they're so dumbed down they have to be for kids. The motivations for the character's arc just isn't there. He claims,
Now I'm just lonely.
But he never once shows any moment in the entire film that he genuinely misses them. He just says it occasionally amidst being a prick.
Given up yet, or are you thirsty for more?
Oh, shut the fuck up, you're not Kevin. There's not even any scenes of him and his mum being close. She's just busy and he's a bellend, so when we get the supposedly charming mother missing her son scene, it just falls flat. And when they reunite, it means nothing because we never actually see or get a sense of them ever being close.
Sorry, konnichiwa. When will the standby seats be announced? When announced?
Ma'am, I'd be more than happy to help you after you stand in a line behind you.
Yes, applaud that thinly veiled racism.
Well, this is a nice, interesting scene. It's a montage of them climbing over a wall while it's intercut with a choir singing. It's soothing and quite atmospheric. This is nice. Sorry. Never mind. Even after Max tries to murder innocent people for the entire film, the movie then actually has the balls to try to have an emotional moment where they realise he's alone and contact his mum to take care of him. Blow me! It is slightly amusing as the family find out who actually did take the doll and nearly kill themselves to catch it. Fair play.
You've got a great kid.
He nearly murdered us several times and laughed as he did it. It is pretty funny as he's reluctant to go home, so you expect the cliche of the house magically being tidied up, but after all of that build-up... Okay, that is pretty clever.
And here's to Max for bringing us all together.
With countless cases of attempted homicide.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas!
To be fair, it's not as bad as a sixth film could have been. I mean, it's not as bad as Halloween 6 or Nightmare on Elm Street 6 or Saw 6. The ending surprisingly does have some charm, and a lot of the dark jokes are pretty clever as it is self-deprecation and fourth wall jokes. The acting is fine, but it's yet another sequel that barely tries anything new, and it's just another lazy cash grab on the exact same idea. I think it's safe to say that we are never going to get a good Home Alone sequel. That doesn't mean make a seventh one!